Get up, you son of a bitch! Cause Pawn's drunk loves you.
You already know this is Pawn Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Woo! Shine himself, aka El Adobo, aka El Sazón, aka El Borracho, aka Café Bustelo, aka El Pastor de Boxeo. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good heaven. God bless you all. Ay, drama in the sport of boxing, drama. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, congratulations to Richardson Hitchens, the IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, beating George Kambosos, 8th-round knockout. Good outing. His name is buzzing. New York City, boxing is good, is alive and well. We got Teo a champion. We got Hitchens a champion. That's what I'm talking about. New York City is alive and well, ladies and gentlemen. New York City boxing is alive and well. 140-pound division is heating up. We also got, as we were talking about yesterday, we got Gary Antoine Russell as well as a champion. New York City is heating up. We got Amanda Serrano, the queen of New York boxing, another champion. Gonna be facing Yarino Kate 11th next day. On a Friday, July 11th, Netflix, Madison Square Garden, baby. Amanda Serrano, the 7th Division World Champion, super featherweight, undisputed, regarded as the queen of boxing, the real greatest woman of all time. Amanda Serrano stepping back in the ring, daring to be great. Going to be fighting the Trailblazer, Katie Taylor from Ireland. Also, she living in New York City. New York is lit. Then the next day, we got July 12th. We got Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga, the phenom in 168-pound division, the phenom of Brooklyn, New York, Bushwick, ya tu sabe. Versus Shiraz. And in I don't know if they're going to be the main event. I don't know, they've been switching it up here, back and forth and stuff like that. Albert in the building. Albert, one of the members of Punch on Boxing. If you haven't become a member of Punch on Boxing, you already know what to do. Smash that link. It's right there in the pin section. Albert said, what's good, Mr. Moonshot? It's been a minute. Albert, how's everything, man? Happy Father's Day to you and yours, the family, the uncles, the cousins, the brothers, the father, granddad. What's good, man? Hope everybody had a good weekend, too. Shout out to all the real fathers and stuff. Shout out to the real puppies. Fight Fury Films in the building. One of the members of Punch on Boxing as well. What's good, Fight Fury Films? Hey, yo, we're going to be talking about this, man. Hey, yo, no wonder. Somebody was calling somebody a dictator. No wonder somebody was calling somebody a dictator. Huh? We were supposed to be, we supposed to be talking about the celebration of Richardson Hitchens beating George Kambosos. You already know George Kambosos that's linked to other fighters. And to be honest, I was thinking about this. Because George Kambosos, shout out to George Kambosos, he fought the likes of Teofimo Lopez, won a split decision victory. He beat Devin, he lost to Devin Dream Haney twice on the back to went out there at Teofimo Lopez fight and won it. Devin Haney. He could have picked the easy fight to go out there in Australia. And you know what I'm saying? But he went out there. Lost to Devin Haney twice. Then for Maxie Hugh, as we all know, and I believe that Maxie Hugh got robbed versus George Kambosos. And then George Kambosos went out there to fight Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko stopped him. Then he fought some interim fight that nobody cared about. He got another big payday. He got signed with Matchroom Boxing. Then he got the fight with Richardson Hitchens, and he got knocked out in the 8th round. Looked like, that George Kambosos is weak to the body. Even though that he was moving up from 135-pound division, but he was weak to the body. Same section where Lomachenko hit him is the same section that Richardson Hitchens hit him. And shout out to Moses. I was sitting right next to Moses, and he was like, yo, the body. Since the first round, the body. I was talking about the right hand, chopping the right hand. And it's funny that the sequence happened with the right hand and then follow up with the left hook to the body, right? But we should be talking about, damn, yo, Richardson Hitchens already has, made his mark. Now is an elite 140-pound division We're talking about a potential fight with Richardson Hitchens, a unification bout with him and Teofimo Lopez. Aye. Or unification bout with him and Gary Antoine Russell. Aye. Or unification bout with him with the winner of Puello and Matias. Aye. Devin Haney, if he moves up, if you want to move up, even though that'll be a good fight. Aye. But somebody is mad. And he has no reason to be mad. Eddie Hearn, the Matchroom promoter, is mad at Richardson Hitchens as a free agent. Why you mad at Richardson Hitchens as a free agent? Because he's a free agent? You ain't signed him to a lifetime deal. Why Eddie Hearn is acting like he's some type of whore? Why Eddie Hearn is acting like he's some type of pimp? Why Eddie Hearn is acting like he's a vindictive baby mama? Eddie Hearn is acting like he bought some titties to Richardson Hitchens and booty and tetas and booties and stuff like that. He's like, I bought you everything. I made you, mate. How could you leave me with Turki Alalshikh? He is mine now. Eddie Hearn. He is mine. Don't you see that? I have Bud Crawford hold his hand. He is mine now. Bring that chocolate thunder. I got 2 chocolate thunders now. High, low, dímelo con los 2 pesos de plátano. Shout out to Mr. Moonshine, the keeper of Object Sport of Boat Sale. Hold on, give me a sec. Let me put this thing down. Hold on. So I could put what we talking about. Hold on, so I could put what we talking about. We put the story. Give me a second. I'll delete this. Delete this. Boom. All right, let's talk about this. Mike Coppinger reported that Eddie Hearn, Turki Alalshikh, will only work with Matchroom on Richardson Hitchens fights. But Richardson Hitchens is not signed with you. I don't know. See, I think that Turki Alalshikh, I think he got there's a miscommunication there because Turki Alalshikh will only work with Matchroom. On Richardson Hitchens fights. But Turki Alalshikh probably don't know that, but you see how Eddie Hearn was just mad. He's mad. Eddie Hearn is angry. How dare Richardson Hitchens not resign to me? I invested so much money in that bloody chocolate thunder's ass. Why is he not resigning to me, bruv? Something with your audio. Y'all don't hear me? Let me know if y'all hear me. Ladies and gentlemen. Me oyen ustedes. Y'all hear me? Anything good? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if y'all hear me. Yes or no? Okay. Gracias. All right. So, Eddie Hearn, Turki Alalshikh, will only work with Matchroom on Richardson Hitchens' fight. But does the Turki Alalshikh understand? Because this was less than 24 hours. I don't think that Turki Alalshikh understood that Richardson Hitchens, because looking out, Justin, I don't think that Turki Alalshikh understood that Richardson Hitchens became a free agent. You cutting out. Dímelo, Randy, que lo que es? Randy. The fuck y'all mean I'm cutting out, man? Yo. I don't think it's about him working with Hearn. It's about Turki trying to keep his relationship with Eddie and the zone good. Yeah, but Turki Alalshikh, but I don't understand. It was good, David. It was good, David. Why is, hold on, let me take this thing out of the way. Let me take this thing out of the way. Oh, he said, you good now? All right. Okay. All right. Let me put this right there. Josh said, I don't think this is about him working with Hearn. It's about Turki trying to keep his relationship with Eddie and the zone good. I mean, why wouldn't Eddie Hearn is getting heavily paid. It's not the problem. This is what it is. Richardson Hitchens did not F over Eddie Hearn. Richardson Hitchens didn't do some snakeish with Eddie Hearn. Not even his manager did some snakes shit with Eddie Hearn. Richardson Hitchens has been, he honored the contract. He fought whoever they put in front of him. He never badmouthed Eddie Hearn. He never badmouthed his manager. He never badmouthed Turki Alalshikh. Why would Eddie Hearn even try to cut a guy that's a free agent? Look, this is the sport of boxing. Everybody going to be signed to somebody, and when their contract ends, they're going to sign with somebody else, or they resign. You know what I'm saying? It is all right. But when somebody act like you are they're not your property. So you're trying to say that Eddie Hearn and Turki Alalshikh is colluding to strong arm Richardson Hitchens for him to resign when he don't have to resign? I could just work strictly with you, Turki. You don't even got to deal with these promoters anymore. If you want to get me versus Teofimo Lopez, you just got to deal with my manager. Think about it, folks. Why does Eddie Hearn have to do anything with it? He's bugging, right? I hear you, but Turki sees that Hitchens is cutting him out. No, he's not cutting him out. He's not cutting him out. I'm not bring him up. I gotta give him my 20 to 25% as a promoter when I could deal strictly with you, Turki. To be honest, I don't even think that Turki Alalshikh understood that he's a free agent. He doesn't, but Turki obviously values. So what Eddie Hearn is doing is, Turki, don't work with Richardson Hitchens. That's what he's doing. So it's Turki. So Eddie Hearn is going to try to destroy everybody's career that leaves him when they're contractual to not be with him. So Eddie Hearn needs to sign he needs to sign a lifetime deal with Anthony Joshua, with Conor Ben, and stuff like that. That's not business. That's not business, in my opinion. That is Bush League. That's being a vindictive person. That's like a vindictive baby mama that's trying to destroy your life because you don't want to be with her. That's like you holding your baby mama or your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend, and you're not letting them go and marry somebody else. You're gonna sabotage their life. They're not with you, but you don't want them to gain anything else. That's some snake. That's not business. That's not business at all. That is not business at all. Christian Padilla in the building. And Turki Alalshikh should actually see that as that's not business. Turki Alalshikh got to see like Eddie Hearn, man, you a snake. Why are you trying to hold this? Turki Alalshikh is a guy that doesn't like that. Matter of fact, I could even Google. Let's put it this way. Turki Alalshikh wants to cut off the middleman. We're gonna Google it. Let me see. Turki Alalshikh cutting off the middleman in boxing. Let's see if anything pops up with that. Let me see. I don't. Mr. Anthony, no. What don't just no. Has demanded that there will be no running now. That's the Tom and Jerry. Everything is running. Because I remember Turki Alalshikh wants to deal with the fighter. Oh, my complicated negotiation. Create more direct relations. And look at that. Alalshikh's actions suggest a move towards streamlining the process of staging major boxing events and potentially reducing promoters and entities who might contribute to less exciting fights or complicate negotiations. He has been seen as driving force behind Saudi Arabia's significant investments in boxing, using Riyadh season to host high-profile bouts. This approach aims to create a more direct relationship with fighters and potentially gain more control over the types of fight that are presented to the public. Turki Alalshikh don't want to. The only reason why Turki Alalshikh work with Hearn, got to work with Frank Warren, got to work with Top Rank or PBC or Golden Boy Promotions is because fighters are under contract. So Turki Alalshikh has to work with these promoters. But if you can see, he got Connelly versus Bud Crawford. He don't have to work with no promoters. Matter of fact, he got his own promoter in Dana White because he doesn't need any boxing promoters. Because Bud Crawford is a free agent, Connelly is a free agent. The reason why he flew in David Benavidez is he don't want to deal with the middleman. So why would Turki Alalshikh try to or Hearn even to strong arm Richardson Hitchens from not working with Turki or Turki not working with Richardson Hitchens because he's a free agent? He don't owe you nothing. He don't owe you nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, the opportunity is an opportunity. And this is what it is. People are grateful. And this is just not about boxing. This is about life itself. If somebody give you an opportunity, right? I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people don't like their jobs, right? A lot of people work jobs, 9 to 5, graveyard shift, whatever it is. A lot of people work jobs that they really don't want to work. But they work because they want to feed their family. And yes, you may not like your boss. Yeah, at the end of the day, they give you an opportunity for you to take care of your family, for you to work and take care of your family. You do your work, you get paid. They owe you. In the end of the week, once you do whether you get paid bi-weekly or weekly, right? You do your work that week, they owe you money because you already did the work. Yes, Eddie Hearn gave Richardson Hitchens an opportunity, but with those opportunities. I don't owe you nothing. Richardson Hitchens owe Eddie Hearn nothing, nada, zero. It's an exchange business. And ladies and gentlemen, if Richardson Hitchens would have lost to Liam Paro, he would have dropped Richardson Hitchens. Look what Eddie Hearn did say. I lost some money. You see how Eddie Hearn was talking about Richardson Hitchens? I lost money with this. I lost some money in Las Vegas. I invested this money. The same way that Bob Arum was talking about Bud Crawford. I would have bought 7 Malibu. I would have bought 7 Malibu mansions with the type of money that I lost with Bud Crawford. Yo, when you sign a contract, if there was a 3-fight, 4-fight deal, whatever it was, Richardson Hitchens honor his contract. Richardson Hitchens honor his contract. If you a free agent, good luck. Do what you got to do. That's it. It's not that, Richardson Hitchens is saying, Eddie Hearn never did nothing for me. But at the end of the day, this is the sport of boxing. This is business. Because if I would have lost, you would have avoided that contract. Just like he did Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias was signed to a multi-fight, to a 3-fight deal. He lost to the Liam Paro. He got dropped. What's the loyalty in that? Eddie Hearn was talking about loyalty. What's your loyalty to Subriel Matias? As a matter of fact, Eddie Hearn benefited from eating from a silver spoon because of Chris Eubank Sr. Hold on. Put this thing up. Hold on. Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Matchroom Boxing, and Eddie Hearn is one of my favorite promoters. I like Oscar De La Hoya. I like Eddie Hearn. He's one of my favorite promoters. He got peace. He talk up a fight. He talk up about of his fighters. Eddie Hearn is a wonderful promoter in that sense, right? He put up some great fights. He elevated women boxing. You know what I'm saying? The heavyweight division, all that stuff. Eddie Hearn, and he came to America, got some great fighters, got some great fights. He makes boxing go around. Good. I like Eddie Hearn for the sport of boxing. Yeah, at the end of the day, Eddie Hearn, I was feeling like he owns somebody. He gets mad. Like, no, my brother, we signed a contract. If you wanted to sign Richardson Hitchens to a lifetime deal, you should have gave him a lifetime contract. But once that contract ends, that's it. But he was talking about loyalty. And then in the beginning of the interview he did with IFL TV, he was talking about, boxing has no loyalty. And then he's talking about loyalty, my brother. Loyalty, that you big on loyalty, then you never would have put Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Because let's not forget how Matchroom Boxing got rich because of the blood, sweat, and tears of Chris Eubank Sr. And when Chris Eubank Sr. was telling Barry Hearns and Eddie Hearn, do not put my son through what you're about to put him through. Eddie Hearn didn't give a F. You wasn't loyal to Chris Eubank Sr. You wasn't loyal to the Eubank family. They made you rich. You're the reason why you eat from a silver spoon. Because of Chris Eubank Sr. Was y'all loyal to Chris Eubank Sr.? No. No. Wrong in the building. What's good? Brother, what's good? So come on, stop with this loyal. What you are is heartbroken. You see that they don't have to deal with you. They can work directly with Turki Alalshikh. That you mad that Edgar Berlanga honored his contract and then he went to Turki Alalshikh and got that fight with Shiraz. It's because you know when Turki Alalshikh is there and they could cut off the middleman, you're not needed. It's the reason why people was mad at Al Heyman. You're not mad at Richardson Hitchens. You're really mad at Turki Alalshikh, but you don't got the balls to go against Turki Alalshikh, Eddie Hearn. You're not mad at Richardson Hitchens. You mad at Turki Alalshikh. Just like the world of boxing was mad at Al Heyman because he was cutting the middleman in promoters. Deal with me. I'm just going to advise you. I'm going to hire a promoter like TGB Tom Brown or Lou DeBella to do the event. You don't got to sign to a promoter. And that started getting because they see that a Earl Spitz don't need to sign to a promotional company. Danny Garcia didn't need to sign to a promotional company. Keith Thurman didn't need to sign a promotional company. Gervonta Tank Davis is not with a promotional company. Deontay Wilder didn't after that didn't need a promotional company. All these guys in PBC didn't need a promotional company in the business of boxing, the traditional business of boxing. The promoters was getting mad because these guys cut off the middleman. And that's the reason why Eddie Hearn is mad at Richardson Hitchens. He's not mad at Richardson, but he's not mad at Richardson Hitchens. He mad at the dynamic of Turki Alalshikh taking over his business and taking over the sport of boxing. Because and all these promoters know if their fighter is not contractual to them, they could deal directly with Turki Alalshikh, just like these fighters was dealing directly with Al Heyman. And that's the reason why Bob Arum was mad at Al Heyman, is the reason why Oscar De La Hoya was mad about Al Heyman, is the reason why Eddie Hearn was mad at Al Heyman, because he don't have to deal with the promoters. But the thing is, Eddie Hearn don't have the balls and this particular fortitude to really stand up to Turki Alalshikh. So you pick on the little guy. You call him a snake. Nah, my brother, Turki is snaking you. That's what it is. Yeah. AKA Aladdin, AKA Aladdin, AKA The reality is that I'm snaking your motherfucking ass, stupid idiot. I don't need you, Eddie Hearn. I'd have my own promoter. I only need you when you have a fight that is contracted to you. Weren't Turki Alalshikh supposed to clean up boxing, and he and all he has done is expose boxing for the dirty business we're known to be? Shout out to the $5 super chat by wrong in the building. Gracias, facts. Low nose boxing in the building. Bill Haney Liz got exposed today on TBV by a female caller. She had Bill under pressure. I don't know, man. Why you always like why when we running a live low nose boxing? You give out information so people could leave my live and go somewhere else. Low nose boxing? Why y'all do that? Why you do that? Not for real. Why you come over here and talk about what we're talking about? That's like me going to a store. Hey, yo, guys. Hey, yo, they got some good fried chicken over there. You go to fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken and you be like, hey, yo, on Popeyes, they got a special going on for 2 chicken wings for 50 cents. What the fuck that has to do with what we talking about today? Huh? What the hell my brother, what the fuck did that have to do with the title today? On my live, on Punchroom Boxing. Salute Punch Drunk would be good, right? Salute Punch, that would be nice. I would stick with Eddie, but I don't know what Africa been through. But if Eddie would try and pay it back, if possible, within reason. But Full Breeze, He paid it back by risking his life in the ring. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a business transaction. You gave me the opportunity. I take advantage of the opportunity. This is business. And Eddie Hearn would treat everything like a business as well. You think, and like I said again, you think that Eddie Hearn was loyal to Subriel Matias after losing to Liam Paro? No. Ow. Because in boxing contracts, there is in contracts, if you lose, I could veto the contract. Is the reason why he dropped him. Is the reason why, let's say, Elvis Rodriguez got dropped by Top Rank after losing to Sims Jr. because you lost. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter if I got a 10-fight deal. You lose that fight, I could drop you. It says on promotional contract. So I really don't want to hear about this in boxing, this loyalty stuff. I am loyal to the contract. When you honor the contract, Richardson Hitchens did great. Richardson Hitchens did his job by honoring and being loyal to the contract that you gave me. The contract doesn't say, hey, yo, if I give you X amount of dollars, you have to re-sign to me and stuff. No. As a matter of fact, you open the doors for Turki Alalshikh, Eddie Hearn. You open the doors. All you promoters open the door for Turki Alalshikh. And I've been saying for days, since day one, that Turki Alalshikh is going to sweep the rug under these promoters. But the thing is, you guys was taking advantage of Turki Alalshikh because he was giving all that money. You going to get your promotional fee. The manager's going to get their fee and stuff like that. But now you're mad at Richardson Hitchens. You're not mad at Richardson Hitchens. You're mad at Turki Alalshikh. Follow the money. That's how you can figure out people's motives. The motive is that he honored the contract as a fighter. Now, if Richardson Hitchens was a guy that's trying to get away from his contract, trying to snake Eddie Hearn, trying to get lawyers and stuff like that, and trying to look at loopholes in his contract to get out, and he don't want to honor the contract, he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to do nothing and stuff like that, then of course, then I'm gonna be like, yo, man, that's not fair. You gotta honor your contract. Yo, come on, don't you think that? Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. You got bad credit. Right? I'm gonna give you this example, exactly, because there's so many examples I could give, but I'm gonna give you an example. Everybody, and has anybody over here ever purchased, finance a car? Right? When you ain't have that great credit, you got an I credit or bad credit. Put that. You got an I credit or bad credit. You go into a dealer. Boom, boom, man, I got bad credit and stuff like that. My credit score is this, my credit score is that. Let's see what we could do. Boom, they hit up all these, you know how it is. The first time you buy all the bank says, okay, I'll buy the car for you and stuff like that. They give you an opportunity. They give you an opportunity to purchase a car and drive a car. Right? The bank is giving you an opportunity, and the dealership is giving you an opportunity. You could pick one. They both give you an opportunity, so you could drive the car. You could go pick up your kids from school, take them your kids from school, go and work and stuff like that. Whatever, work on the car, do Uber, whatever it is. Right? The opportunity. You already paid off your car note, and you want to buy another car. And the first time you went to Wells Fargo's, the second time Chase is picking it up. Is Wells Fargo going to be like, yo, that's fucked up? Hey, yo, Chase. Don't finance the car with him. Because I had him when he had bad credit. I was the only one that gave him an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Banco Popular didn't give him an opportunity. Huh? Nobody gave an opportunity but me. I gave this low credit, bad credit motherfucker an opportunity when nobody wanted him to drive, and I gave him an opportunity. And after he about to buy, that was a Honda Accord. Now he's gonna be buying a Maybach, and now he don't want me to finance the car. Not Chase. Don't do it, Chase. Don't do it, Chase, or we ain't friends. Don't do it, Chase, or we ain't friends. Fuck out of here, man. I honor the fucking damn contract. Could you imagine if you break up with your baby mama, right? Because you know a baby mama. See, so is what a baby mama does, huh? Trying to sabotage your next relationship. Bitch, I don't want to be with you no more. I take care of my kids. I already did what I got to do. That's it. No. No, you ain't gonna have no other girl. You ain't gonna have no other. You ain't gonna get remarried and shit like that. You gonna leave me? I remember I was with you when you was nobody, nigga. When you ain't had shit. When you ain't had nothing. Now you all of this and now you don't want to be with me? You heard the story about Book, another big, right? He said it was like 2 years ago, but now everybody is talking about it today, right? That's like, let's say, for example, I'm not trying to talk about nobody's lady, but that's not his lady, but I'm just talking about, right? Remember, so you know that Bud Crawford and his baby mama used to be together, fiance. She used to rock. She gave him 6 kids. Bud Crawford ain't one. Bud Crawford's not with her no more. He's moving on. I gave you 6 kids, nigga. I was with you when you was nobody, and you still an ugly nigga. You was ugly before. Now you think you cute. Now you think you cute, huh? I'm going after the whiteies now. The white girls love me now. Huh? Big bitch. The white girls love me now, huh? The green girls love me now. Man, I don't want to be with a whale all my life. I got money now. Huh? With all that money, I told you to do your body. You want to do your body. Should Bud Crawford stay with his baby mom? Because she was with him since the beginning? Huh? Ay, mira esta gente. Hell no, man. Richardson Hitchens did the right thing. Richardson Hitchens honored his contract. He beat George Kambosos and anyone before that Matchroom Boxing put in front of him. Eddie Hearn has no right. Eddie Hearn has no right to block Richardson Hitchens. No right. No right. Has no right to sabotage Richardson Hitchens' deal or potential partnership with Turki Alalshikh. Has no right. That's not business. Oh, yo, Punch, you got to understand that that's business. You know what I'm saying? And Eddie Hearn is trying to handle. That's not business. That's not business at all. That's not business. I'm a free agent. You can't sabotage me. Why are you trying to sabotage me? Why are you trying to sabotage me from, because yes, you gave me an opportunity. Everybody gave me an opportunity. My teacher gave me an opportunity to damn read the fucking contract. I mean, to read. So, damn contract because they told me how to read and I got to give them the fee because they give me an opportunity to read. Blah, 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 blah. No. Yo, that's a headache. Yo, an opportunity, when somebody give you an opportunity, that doesn't mean that you owe them for life. That doesn't mean that you owe them for life. You know what I'm saying? Some people trying to strong arm you, give the guilty truth. But I was there when nobody was there. I was there. I remember when you was in the streets and shit like that, and I hooked you up with this apartment and stuff like that. So now I got to you. Every favor that you asked me, I got to do it because you helped me out when I was no. Come on, man. That's not life. That's not fair. That's not fair. Everybody did something for somebody, man, coming up. If you hit this age, the late 30s, the 40s, the 50s, when you already in a full-fledged adult, you know what I'm saying? Everybody did something for somebody, man, whether it's to get a job, whether it's to get into school, whether it's help you with a resume, whether it's help you, you know what I'm saying? Anything, somebody gave you an opportunity. You don't owe them for the rest of your life. And at the end of the day, this is boxing too. This is the most cutthroat business of all sports. This is the most snakish sport of all sports. This is a snakish sport of all sport. And Eddie Hearn understand that. Eddie Hearn ain't give a fuck about what Chris Eubank Sr. did in the ring to establish Matchroom, elevated to the point where he's eating from a silver spoon because of the blood, sweat, and tears of Chris Eubank Sr. And then when Chris Eubank Sr. is telling the Hearns, do not put my son under these conditions, they wasn't loyal to Chris Eubank Sr. They didn't give a F about his son. They ain't give a damn about the rehydration clause. As a matter of fact, the first time they was going to put him in the ring with a dirty fighter at 157 pounds. They ain't have no loyalty. Eddie Hearn ain't have no loyalty. Fuck is he talking about? A guy who has a free agent? You bugging the F out, Eddie Hearn. You bugging the F out. You mad at Turki Alalshikh, but you can't stand up for Turki Alalshikh. You mad at Turki Alalshikh, but you don't got the balls to stand up to Turki Alalshikh and tell him how you really feel. What you really feel is that Turki Alalshikh is running your asses out of business little by little. And I remember listening to Sport with Eddie Hearn and the crew, and they was telling Eddie Hearn, if Turki Alalshikh wants, he'll take audio out of business. And he knows. Turki Alalshikh knows, Eddie Hearn knows, all the promoters know that once these fighters are free agent, he don't got to work. They don't got to work with y'all. They don't got to work with y'all. So why is he doing that to Richardson Hitchens? Because he couldn't stop. Was that fair that what Eddie Hearn did to Edgar Berlanga after the Connelly Alvarez fight? He put him out there in Orlando, Florida, and then shitted on him so he could be a co-main event to Ammo Williams. Eddie Hearn is acting like a vindictive baby mama in family court, man. Eddie Hearn, you too good for that. Eddie Hearn, you too good as a promoter. You done a great job for the most part. But right now, you're frustrated with Turki Alalshikh. And it didn't even work. He trying to send Edgar Berlanga a message. It ain't work with Eddie Hearn. You know, this is what it is. This is what it is. He tried to teach Edgar Berlanga a lesson, and it didn't work. Edgar Berlanga is going to highlight main event, Queens, New York, Edgar Berlanga versus Shiraz, and he didn't need to re-sign to Eddie Hearn. He just went directly to work with Turki Alalshikh with his manager, Keith Connelly. That's why Eddie Hearn is mad. But he's a free agent. You try to shit on Edgar Berlanga and then put him as a co-main event minimize his pay if he goes somewhere else, to minimize his value if he goes somewhere else. And guess what? Turkey stepped up and it's giving him a great payday and headline in New York City, Queens, New York. You mad at Devin Haney that time when you didn't want to pay him more than $2 million to fight Liam Paro. And you figure rank on the $2.4 million versus with Sando Martin. And I'm not trying to give him money. You saying that Eddie Hearn, you was mad at Bill Haney. You was mad at Bill Haney because you didn't like the way they treated you leading up to the Ryan Garcia fight. And then you was trying to teach them a lesson that you're not more valuable than what you think you are. And they try to teach Devin Haney a lesson, but then Devin Haney, what he did, work with Turki Alalshikh. And you couldn't teach Devin Haney a lesson because he went with Turki Alalshikh. You couldn't teach Edgar Berlanga a lesson because he was a free agent. All these guys is a free agent. You're mad. You're mad. You at Turki Alalshikh, but you don't got the balls and particular fortitude to stand up to Turki Alalshikh and saying, mate, you're strategically trying to run me out of business. Savage in the building. Rapstar Boxing Knowledge in the building, the voice of the UK, London. My brother Rapstar, he from London. He know who built Matchroom Boxing. Huh? Rapstar Boxing, my brother Rapstar Boxing Knowledge, the voice of the UK, London, know who built Matchroom Boxing. The blood, sweat, and tears of Chris Eubank Sr. And then when Chris Eubank Sr. says, hey, be fair to my son. You're putting my son in this situation. Be loyal to me. I blood, sweat, and tears. Me and Barry Hearn, we build Matchroom Boxing. It's because of you. It's because of me, mate. It's because of me that you eating from a silver spoon, Mr. Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn say, fuck you. I'm going to put Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm going to have your son depleted. I don't care what you did with my dad. Matchroom Boxing even got Chris Eubank Jr.'s brother-in-law to go against him. Loyalty? Ain't no loyalty in the sport of boxing. Fight Fury Film with a $220 super chatty party K. Eddie is dead wrong. But should Hitchens use Eddie as leverage to fight in Rehab for a big bag where he can get a 2-fight deal against Teo or Gary Antoine Russell? Click it out with a $20 super chat. He seen the play. You saw them in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, yo, Fight Fury Films. This is what Eddie Hearn didn't like. I'm going to show you right here. This is what Eddie Hearn didn't like. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I see Connelly. He manages Teo. Shit, he manages Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens is calling out 2 fighters that works directly with Turki or was working directly with Turki Alalshikh. Richardson Hitchens versus Teofimo Lopez, big bag. Devin Haney also working with Turki Alalshikh. Ooh, potential big bag. Damn, I'm gonna be out of that big bag. See, Eddie Hearn is just mad he's not being used. Not being used. But he's not the big bag. He's mad at Keith because Keith has direct connections. Keith Connelly has Turki Alalshikh on speed dial. I don't need you, Eddie Hearn. We don't need you. We don't need you. He's mad at these guys. Oh, yeah, he did something for Edgar Berlanga. He got them the Canelo Alvarez fight. Yeah. You, Richardson Hitchens, you got him headline. Yeah, it's business. They don't have a lifetime contract with you. They're free agents. They could go wherever they want. They could go wherever they want. Oh, now you switching it up. All these years, my brother been saying, oh, Eubank Bill Matchroom, Eubank Bill Matchroom, Eubank Bill Matchroom. Now it's Priest Nassim now. Nah, it's Priest Nassim now. No, yeah. Chris Eubank Jr., Chris Eubank Sr. Bill Matchroom Boxing. Because the people from the UK was telling me that throughout all the years. Yep, Chris Eubank Sr. build Matchroom Boxing, and he was supposed to be loyal to Chris Eubank. Just like Matchroom Boxing, one of the presidents, the vice president, whatever you want to call him, is the brother-in-law of Chris Eubank Jr. So I don't want to hear about this loyalty shit. I don't want to hear about this loyalty shit. Don't switch it up now. Don't switch it up. Loyalty my ass. They was not loyal to the Eubanks. Eubanks build Matchroom Boxing. Frank Smith, Matchroom CEO, married to Emily Eubank. Facts. And how did they treat Click? Say it, EJ20. You're going to be the real one out here. EJ20, tell them. Tell the people in the chat. How did they treat Chris Eubank Jr.? Tell them. Talk about loyalty. Eddie Hearn is the last person to talk about loyalty. Matchroom Boxing is the last people in boxing to talk about loyalty today. Tell them, EJ. I see people frightened now on the chat. Oh, yeah, the chat moving a little slow now, huh? Yeah. Before the Conor Ben fight, they treated him like a dog shit. The chat got a little, what happened to my UK friends? It got kind of quiet now in the chat. I don't see nobody typing anymore. How you got a family member in Matchroom Boxing going against you going up against your own brother-in-law, and you have in Matchroom Boxing have the right to say that anybody is disloyal? That is the most crock shit I've heard this year. Thank you, EJ20. Thank you, EJ20. I appreciate you, my brother. EJ20 is keeping it real from the UK. Shout out to the UK, EJ20. Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn should be the last person to talk about loyalty. Chris Eubank Sr. helped build the empire of Matchroom Boxing, helped build the lucrative and the funds of Matchroom Boxing. Blood, sweat, and tears, fighting five times a year. Chris Eubank Sr. build. And they wanted to destroy Chris Eubank Jr., the son, because it's business. They didn't care about his health because it's business. They didn't care about the rehydration clause because it's business. They didn't care about the cut weight because it's business. They didn't care that he came, 0.2, 0.5 and took $500,000 away from him because it's business. Talk about snakes? Out of here. What goes around comes around. Tell him, EJ. Tell him we got truth out here. We got true boxing heads out here. Look what Eddie did to O'Hara Davis. That was disgusting. Look what they did to Subriel Matias after losing to Liam Paro. Disgusting. It got Matias fighting his next fight. He had nobody. Had him fighting back in Puerto Rico in a park. What is you talking about? This is business. He would have threw Richardson Hitchens right in the trash bin if he would have lost to Liam Paro. And let's keep it real. That was in the play. The play was in Richardson Hitchens beating Liam Paro. And then we signed George Kambosos because we have a potential fight with Richardson Hitchens and George Kambosos. That wasn't the play. That wasn't the play. The play was signed George Kambosos Jr. from Australia, and we're going to have Liam Paro versus George Kambosos. They didn't think. I know boxing very, very well, and I know matchups very, very well. I've read contracts. I've put people on. I know this fucking business. I'm just not a drunk in the mic. All right? Before the Lemon fight, Richardson Hitchens was complaining about weight, that he can't make a 140-pound division real good. He didn't even want to face Subriel Matias because he the duration clause, right? And everybody was scared that Richardson Hitchens is scared of Subriel Matias. Richardson Hitchens was already saying that he's going to be moving up to the 147-pound division. That it's hard for him to make the 140. He fought Lemos. We already know that a lot of people felt that Lemos beat Richardson Hitchens. It was a close fight. It could have gone either way, but a lot of people out there felt that Lemos beat Richardson Hitchens. Then he knew, y'all already know, Liam Paro beat Subriel Matias, the boogeyman. Matchroom Boxing was all about Liam Paro. All about Liam Paro. They signed George Kambosos because they knew that a George Kambosos versus Liam Paro with the money out there in Australia, because that's all they was talking about. Let's not forget that. Matchroom Boxing did not think that Richardson Hitchens, after Liam Paro beating Subriel Matias, that Richardson Hitchens would have beat Liam Paro at a 140. Just like Eddie Hearn said in the interview, they was losing money with Richardson Hitchens. So if they was losing money in New York, they was losing money in Las Vegas. This is what Eddie Hearn said in the IFL TV interview. He was telling the people, we lost a lot of money with Richardson Hitchens. We lost a lot of money. So leading up to the Liam Paro fight, you think that he wanted Richardson Hitchens to be Liam Paro since they was losing money with Richardson Hitchens? The reason they signed George Kambosos is because the potential money fight in the stadium with Liam Paro versus George Kambosos in Australia for 30,000 people, 20, whatever, 30, 40,000 people in the stadium. And guess what? Richardson Hitchens beat Liam Paro. You think that Eddie Hearn was jumping to the sky? Go check that win back. Go back. Go back to the post-fight interview. Go back. Go see if Eddie Hearn was jumping all over the place and cheering. No, he saw that. Fuck. We signed George Kambosos. What are we gonna do? Shit. What are we gonna do now? We just losing money with Richardson Hitchens. Damn. Let me give you another insight. Shout out to Pablo Valdez. Pablo Valdez was supposed to be in a card this past weekend in Madison Square Garden. Pablo Valdez is the one that sold most of the tickets. Some of y'all may not know him too much because he's still not in the elite level right now. Pablo Valdez, very well known in New York. Pablo Valdez is the one that sold most of the tickets in Madison Square Garden. It wasn't necessarily Richardson Hitchens, and it wasn't George Kambosos. If anybody knows in New York, Pablo Valdez brought out was the one that was gonna bring out Ace. What's his name? A hoodie with the boogie. A boogie with the hoodie. Fat Joe was in the building. I see Fat Joe outside. When Fat Joe understood that Pablo Valdez was not going to be fighting, I'm like, oh, shit, because he was here for Pablo Valdez. They needed to tell Pablo his opponent was not going to be ready to fight because they needed to save all those tickets that was already bought for him. Eddie Hearn knows, and this is not a disrespect on Richardson Hitchens, but just like Eddie Hearn says, Richardson Hitchens been losing money. I'm sorry, Eddie Hearn been losing money with Richardson Hitchens. That's what Eddie Hearn said. So why do you think that do you really think that Eddie Hearn wanted George Kambosos versus Richardson Hitchens, or logically speaking, y'all already know, unbiasedly, logically and objectively, he wanted the Liam Paro versus George Kambosos in Australia. He signed George Kambosos after getting knocked out by Vasily Lomachenko and losing arguably 4 fights straight. You think that they signed George Kambosos because they say, oh my God, I just want to see a potential fight with him and Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens was supposed to get dropped right after the Liam Paro. He was going to lose that fight. You understand? Richardson Hitchens won, and now he got the George Kambosos fight. He beat George Kambosos, and now he's a free agent. And now what Eddie Hearn wants is that Richardson Hitchens to re-sign with him because he's giving him the guilty trips that I got you a nobody. I had you. Look how he was talking about Richardson Hitchens. This is a narcissist talking right now. I remember when I saw Richardson Hitchens and his car was ripped. The hinges of the car wasn't even, you know what I'm saying, put together. He didn't have nobody. Mira ese come mierda. Talking so much down to Richardson Hitchens, trying to give him a guilty trip, trying to say you wasn't shit without me. Motherfucker, I fought. Richardson Hitchens fought to be where he's at right now. He kept his end of the bargain. Yeah, you give him an opportunity, but he fought for it. He risked his life for it. He risked his life for it. What is he talking about? Motherfuckers acting like they just giving an opportunity and not doing nothing. It's just like if somebody give you an opportunity for you to work. Yeah, thank you. You give me an opportunity for me to work and make ends meet to feed my family. But at the end of the day, yo tengo que trabajar. Y si yo no trabajo and if I don't work, you'll fire me and I lose those opportunities. I don't owe you shit. You owe me. You gave an opportunity, and when I do the work, then you owe me my pay. What people think they are in this world. And now you trying to sabotage me when you don't have no ties with me so I can move forward and make tons of money like you did, Eddie Hearn. You moved forward and started working. Matter of fact, Eddie Hearn, you started working with your enemy, Frank Warren, because you had the bag with Turki Alalshikh. Now you ain't going to let me make my own bag? I got to will you to for the rest of my life because be an opportunity. Out of here. And anybody that's trying to say that that's good business, that ain't no good business, man. That ain't no good business. That's not business at all. You're trying to sabotage me, and I don't even have no ties with you, and I honor the contract that we both had like men, like businessmen, and you're trying to sabotage me and telling this guy with the money that don't do business. Snake shit, that's not business. That is not business. That's some snakish, bitter baby mama shit, bro. Bitter baby mama and family court shit. Be with me or I'll take you to court. Be with me, or you can't see your kids. That's what it is. That's what Eddie Hearn is doing. Be with me like the bitter baby mamas and family court. Why you don't want to be with me? Why you don't want to be with your family? I don't want to be a single mother and shit like that. I already got 5 kids. And 4. That's why you leaving me. Why you leave? All right, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. But I'm gonna take care of my kids. I'm gonna handle my responsibility. No, I'm gonna take you to car. I'm gonna take you to car. I'm gonna make your life a living hell. That's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is acting like a vindictive baby mama in family court. And Eddie Hearn wants child support from Richardson Hitchens. I'm gonna give you another example. That's like strippers and hookers, right? These strippers and hookers, they getting rammed up, right? They getting rammed up day in and day out, Sunday, sundown, right? And then they figure out, you know what? And some of these women got pimps, right? Some of these women got pimps. And guess what was invented that is saving these girls from physical torture and physical and STDs and all of that? Come on, man. I know you're subscribed to it. What is saving these hookers and whores and strippers right now? Huh? And these pimps nowadays is getting tight. These pimps are tight right now out there in the strip. What's saving these women? Come on, man. I know you. Come on, you freaks. You know the answer. Come on, say it in the chat. I'm going to give you 15 seconds because I know there's a bunch of freaks out there. I said, what they're talking about. Y'all subscribe to it. What was invented that is saving these strippers, these porn stars, these hookers, and all of that? Huh? Come on now. Anybody in the chat? Or is the chat working? Is the chat working? Is moving slow? Let me see if it's the chat. If the chat ain't working, it's Nconquer's the last one. Let me see if the chat is working. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if the chat is working. Birth control. He said birth control. Thank you. Thank you, Santino. Thank you. OnlyFans. OnlyFans is the new pimp daddy. It has saved all these girls from the strip club, porn stars, Pornhub, whores. They don't need a pimp no more. They don't. All they got to do is show their body on OnlyFans and make money and make way more money. There's women out there. I've been seeing these little podcast interviews with these girls, and they're getting millions. They've become millionaires All they have to do is OnlyFans now. That effed up the game for a lot of these people, right? For a lot of these pimps, for a lot of these porn companies, it's messed up. It messed up their business. OnlyFans. Ladies, boxing is a pimp and hoe game. We all know that. Boxing is a pimp and hoe game. We all know that, right? Because I don't want to lose anybody in the chat. I don't want to lose anybody in the chat. Just be like, yo, Punch, true. Give me true, give me no. No, it's not. Punch, no, it's not. It's a very great business, and we have a lot of integrity and stuff like that, right? Pimping, and everybody knows that. Promoters are the pimps and fighters are the hoes. Joshua said OnlyFans should be illegal. Well, at least they doing it safe in their house and just throwing a bunch of naked pictures or whatever they doing. At least they're not on the strip, and at least they getting their money. Boxing is a pimp and whole game, and guess what? Richardson Hitchens owned OnlyFans, and OnlyFans is Turki Alalshikh. OnlyFans is Turki Alalshikh. And these pimps are mad at OnlyFans. AC said, bring back pimping. That's why Eddie Hearn is mad. So now he's telling OnlyFans, Eddie Hearn is telling OnlyFans, aka Turki Alalshikh, not to upload Richardson Hitchens pictures and videos. You get it? Hey, yo, I'm giving you a lot of examples today, folks. Jackie Hernandez. Shout out to Jackie Hernandez. I am giving a lot of examples today. Again, boxing is a pimp and hoe game. Hoes. Since Richardson Hitchens, he found OnlyFans. OnlyFans is Turki Alalshikh. Eddie Hearn is trying to tell OnlyFans not to upload Richardson Hitchens pictures and videos because he's no longer his pimp and he's no longer getting he's not getting the cut no more. Richardson Hitchens has found OnlyFans. And Richardson Hitchens says, I don't need you no more. Thank you for the opportunity, for protecting me, for giving me the opportunity to do this, do. You gave me the opportunity to be in the strip to be a frikitona. Yeah. Me vamos a estar con todo este example. So let's just keep on. Let's keep on reading. Let me take this thing out of the way. What it says. Hearn's disappointed with Richardson Hitchens' comment in the ring. Hearn told the ring that no one hand said, what the fuck? Hearn told the ring, on one hand, he says, Matchroom have completely changed my life in 2 years, and then wants to tell the world he's a free agent. So what? In a post-fight interview, what's always a question that the fans is asking for? What's next? A free agent. I'm a free agent now, so of course I got to be talking with my team and blah blah blah. My manager, I want to fight Devin Haney, or I could fight Teofimo Lopez, blah 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 blah. That's what's next. I'm a free agent. Just like Bud Crawford told the whole world in front of Bob Arum that he's a free agent after the Sean Porter fight. Right? Just like Gervonta Tank Davis told the whole world, I'm not with Mayweather Promotions no more. That everybody knew that the last fight with Mayweather Promotions was with Pitbull Cruz. Everybody knew that. Why getting mad? So does Tank Davis have to stay with Mayweather Promotion his whole career? Because he gave Gervonta Tank Davis an opportunity? Is Gervonta Tank Davis supposed to stay with Mayweather Promotion his whole career? Is Canelo Alvarez supposed to stay with Golden Boy Promotion his whole career because Golden Boy Promotions made him a star? But everybody got to stay. Does Manny Pacquiao has to go back to Top Rank? Everybody know that Manny Pacquiao was going to become a free agent after the Jeff Horn fight. Time out. A lot of people was all shit for signing the extension. Look at that. Hold on. Let's get to that. Let's finish this. It didn't sit well with me, so I pulled Richardson to one side and quietly after back in the changing room, I told him how I felt. It felt a really bad taste in the mouth after all the investment we made in his career. Okay, you made the investment. Everybody in boxing, managers and promoter, everything is an investment. But there's a contract. He honored his contract. The contract doesn't say that once the contract ends, because I've made all these investments, you got to re-sign to me. Everybody is making investment in boxing. Everybody is making investment. Did Eddie Hearn make the investment all the way up to when he saw Richardson Hitchens were made with the promotions or whatever before that? What about the first people that was uplift that was making the investment? You know how all these fighters was invested by somebody. Even trainers make investments. It's business in the end of the day. Shit, I would have liked, let me take this thing out of the way. I think that's out of the way. He beat Eddie in the head. Eddie liked him a lot. He didn't beat Eddie. Richardson Hitchens didn't do nothing. The real loser in this whole situation is Teofimo Lopez. I don't know. Why is Teofimo Lopez? He's not the real loser in this situation. They're not the real losers in this situation. The real loser is nobody, really. Nobody's a loser in this. Eddie Hearn is mad that he sees that Keith Connelly works directly with Turki Alalshikh. And Eddie Hearn is mad that he knows that Keith Connelly with Richardson Hitchens does not need Eddie Hearn. Richardson Hitchens does not need Eddie Hearn anymore to take 20-25% of his money. Sometimes in life you reach a certain status that I don't need this other person. And that is stupid business for Richardson Hitchens to re-sign with Matchroom Boxing if Keith Connelly have direct connections with Turki Alalshikh, just like he did with the Edgar Berlanga. We don't need Matchroom Boxing. My client, as a manager, my client does not need his pay to be cut 20% more with a promoter that we don't need. Because that's the reason you see Edgar Berlanga fighting Shiraz, not needing Matchroom Boxing, because Keith Connelly as a manager has done the business. So look at this. Keith Connelly is the manager of Teofimo Lopez. Keith Connelly is the manager of Richardson Hitchens. Right now, you're the manager. You're Keith Connelly right now. You have direct connections to Turki Alalshikh. You as a manager going to say, you know what? I know the business with Devin Haney has effed up over, but Hitchens and Richardson Hitchens wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. Hey, Turki, this is a unification bout. You don't want to see boring fights, right? You don't want to see nobody run. Did you see Richardson Hitchens? He knocked out George Kambosos. Did you see Teofimo Lopez? He the one that saved your card in the Times Square. How about this fight, Turki Alalshikh? Do you like it? See, Eddie Hearn see this and says, oh, shit, this is the play. this is a big fight. Because I know that Boots Ennis was supposed to be a big fight with Teofimo Lopez. Eddie Hearn just said that in a recent interview. That Boots Ennis 154. Right? He ain't say good. It was a great opportunity for Boots Ennis to face Teofimo Lopez. Eddie Hearn is mad at the Boots team for not taking this fight. If you're Keith Connelly, anybody in the chat right now, if you're Keith Connelly, everybody in the chat, just put yourself in Keith Connelly position. Are you going to sign Richardson Hitchens to a Matchroom deal right now? Knowing that I could just put this fight up and we all collect, my fighter collect 80 or of his purse, not needing a promoter. We don't need Eddie Hearn. My fighter does not need Eddie Hearn in this particular time right now. And that's why Eddie Hearn is mad. Eddie Hearn is trying to block Richardson Hitchens and crying to Turki Alalshikh not to do business with Richardson Hitchens unless he's with me. But he's not with you, Eddie Hearn, no more. He's a free agent. John said Eddie is butthurt. Tio both are cut out. The what? Tio turns down Haney, and now Hitchens gets that fight. Both. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, John? Why you think that Teofimo Lopez step inside the ring, my brother? Keith Connelly manages both fighters. Richardson Hitchens gets a better, exactly. Richardson, they don't. Eddie Hearn is butthurt, my brother. I'm saying I only burn bridges. Richardson should offer Eddie a deal that favors Hitchens. That's how I would play it. But you make them. The thing is to be honest, brother, it will be stupid for Richardson Hitchens as a businessman to have another deal with Eddie Hearn. See, this is what Eddie Hearn should have done. Eddie Hearn should have gave Richardson Hitchens, if he knew this play was a lucrative deal to resign to him. Before look, when Richardson Hitchens beat Liam Paro, right? Man, Eddie Hearn should have came back to the negotiation table and gave him one of the biggest deals that he has given an American fighter. And he would have made his money back with Turki Alalshikh. He would have made his money back with Turki Alalshikh. If I was Eddie Hearn, I would have said, yo, Keith, Rich, I got I could get you the Teofimo Lopez fight. I'm for sure gonna get you the Teofimo, and I could get you the George Kambosos fight. I get you one of the best fights. I could get you just sign this extension. 5 fights. I'm gonna give you a signing bonus. He's a 9 million signing bonus. 5 million something. 5 million signing. You're gonna get it back with Turki Alalshikh anyway, right? You're gonna get it back with Turki Alalshikh. I'm gonna give you a $5 million signing bonus. I get why Eddie Hearn is mad, but he's mad at the wrong person. See, he's looking at Richardson Hitchens that he believes that Richardson Hitchens should do the honorable thing. The honorable thing, and when he's a free agent, is bring Eddie Hearn along, and then, no. But then let's talk about even a potential Devin Haney situation. Devin Haney works directly with Turki Alalshikh. Devin Haney works directly with Turki Alalshikh. Turki Alalshikh wants to deal with these fighters without the promoters. Eddie Hearn is mad that Turki Alalshikh is moving like Al Heyman. That's what Turki Alalshikh is, Al Heyman. And this community is so stupid that they hate Al Heyman so much, and they don't even see that Turki Alalshikh is taking the blueprint of Al Heyman. People hated Al Heyman in the business of boxing because he took away the middleman, because it benefits the fighter. And some fans don't like that it benefits the fighter. I don't understand. I don't understand. And fighters is not getting fucked over. That the fighters is actually getting paid more than thing. All right, let's talk about the honor contracts now too. Honoring the contract. I believe in honoring the contract. Once you sign, you make a deal. Because look, I'm gonna tell you like this. Sometimes you sign a deal. Sometimes Turki said he's not working with Hitchins without her boxing hacker. That's what we've been talking about for an hour and 15 minutes. That's the live, buddy. You're not telling us something new. Is Matchroom going out of business? I don't think that Matchroom Boxing is going out of business. I think that Hearn is trying to flex his muscle towards Richardson Hitchens, but scared to flex his muscle to Turki Alalshikh. So he's taking it out on Richardson Hitchens. He's getting mad at Edgar Berlanga. He's getting mad at Eddie Hearn. I'm sorry, he's getting mad at Devin Haney. You don't think that Eddie Hearn is a little bit pissed off of Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez? Eddie Hearn is being left out because of Turki Alalshikh, but it was you, Eddie Hearn, that started doing business with Turki Alalshikh as well. You gave him power as well. Look, Eddie Hearn said in an interview 2 months ago that he will clean the shoes. He said if Turki Alalshikh will ask me to clean his shoes, he will clean it. I'm not lying. Eddie Hearn said that. Eddie Hearn said if Turki Alalshikh wants me to clean his shoes, I will clean it. And I've submitted to Turki Alalshikh, and you mad that the man that you submitted is trying to take you out little by little. All your little promoters, he's trying to take you out. He never respected none of you. He had to work with you because you have the fighters, and I have to work with you. That's why Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford, he don't need to work with none of these promoters in boxing because Bud and Canelo is not signed to none of these promoters. Turki Alalshikh said, F you to the promoters. Eddie Hearn, Top Rank, ain't none of you going to be a part of Canelo versus Bud. Hey, Dana White, come over here. Remember last year we tried to sabotage Canelo Alvarez fight with Edgar Berlanga? Yeah, I've been peeping this play for a long time. And people thought I was hating. No, Turki Alalshikh has put some good fights, some great fights. But I've been saying since day one, come on, man, you're just not going to come to this business and start just money. Like there's no plan. There's no end game to this. Thank you. Independent is the way to go. We all talk about independency. We always talk about that. Now these fighters is gaining independency and people mad. Get out of here, man. Hey, yo, Richardson Hitchens doesn't owe Eddie Hearn nothing. Richardson Hitchens own, and look, I'm gonna tell you like this. People was mad when somebody called them and now let me say like this. If Turki Alalshikh if it's true that Turki Alalshikh is not if it's true that Turki Alalshikh is going to keep Richardson Hitchens from working with him unless he signs with Matchroom Boxing, and let's say that Turki Alalshikh is going to do Eddie Hearn a favor. I'm crying like a little bitch, Eddie Hearn. All right. I really don't mind not giving this chocolate thunder. I already had a chocolate thunder. Have Bud Crawford. I'd hold his hand. He hold my hand. I might want 2 chocolate thunders, but I don't need the other chocolate thunder. Come on, mate. I mean, they're taking advantage of me, mate. They acting like they don't need promote us. They acting like they don't need Matchroom Boxing. They acting like they don't need Eddie Hearn, bruv. All right, shut the fuck up. All right, stop crying like a little bitch. All right, I already have 16 baby need you to act like the 17th one, right? I will not do the business with Richardson Hitchens. All right. You can put it. Tell my competition to put a report out there. I don't give a fuck about Chocolate Thunder. All right. Thank you. I had a conversation with Turki. I had a heartwarming call from Turki Alalshikh this morning, who confirmed he will only deal with Matchroom moving forward on Richardson Hitchens. So we will begin those discussions. Look at this snake. That's a snake move, bro. That's a bitter, snakish move. And I like Eddie Hearn. But Eddie Hearn is so frustrated right now. He's acting like a stupid, bitter baby mama, vindictive baby mama. You, Eddie, I hope, Eddie Hearn, you listening? I know I'm boisterous. I know that these type of content is the type of content that I ain't gonna give me the credentials to this guy. I don't care. I'm just keeping it real. You looking bad out here, Eddie Hearn. I had a heartwarming. You only say that shit to bitches. Thinking I had a heartwarming call from Turki Alalshikh. Mira te tigre. Oh my God, bro. I'm tired of you guys just losing your manhood over this dude that got some chancletas, the Jesus Christ chancleta with the grandmama, the damn turban. Grown man, be a man, bro. Women are watching. I had a heartwarming. This is boxing. What the fuck? There ain't no such thing as heartwarming conversations. What is he talking about? What the fuck is he talking about? Heartwarming. This is boxing, Eddie. Ain't nobody having no damn conversation, a heartwarming conversation talking about fighters. I had a heartwarming call this morning who confirmed he would only deal with Matchroom Boxing moving forward on Richardson Hitchens, so we will begin those discussions. That's snakish right there, man. We saw Bill Haney. Bill Haney had dinner with Eddie Hearn, the Marks. Maybe that's the play. See, this is what it is that they don't want. This is what Eddie Hearn don't want to say publicly. Is that Turki Alalshikh don't need you with particular fighters. And Eddie Hearn should watch it. Eddie Hearn should watch calling Keith Connelly a snake, because the most lucrative fight in boxing this year thus far, and the biggest, most memorable fight in boxing this year, has been Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. And of Conor Benn. And it's for Keith Connelly managing his career. Guess what, Eddie Hearn? You probably never would have gotten that fight. And guess what, Turki Alalshikh? You probably never wanted that fight. So I know for a fact that Turki Alalshikh respects Keith Connelly. And I know for a fact with these particular fighters, Turki Alalshikh has been happy dealing with Keith Connelly. And Eddie Hearn has been rich his whole life, has had power in the sport of boxing, and just does not like that he go through Eddie Hearn anymore. See, these guys are comfortable when Turki Alalshikh is only dealing with them. They find power. See, Eddie Hearn finds power in Turki Alalshikh only dealing with him. As soon as Eddie Hearn understands that, damn, I could just like how he felt with Bill Haney and Devin Haney. Remember, after the Ryan Garcia fight, he said, and I'm just paraphrasing, that I don't like the way they was doing business. They're the type to they always making other business and talking to other people while they talking to you. That's why he don't like Keith Connelly, because you can't control them. There's one thing about rich people that they don't like. Two things. Rich people. Have you ever been around rich? I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about the great, good-hearted rich people. I'm not talking about the good-hearted ones, the fair ones, the genuine ones, the humanitarians. I ain't talking about those. I'm talking about the narcissist, the dictatorship type of. Somebody call Aladdin a dictator once. Right? And everybody said that it was bad for him to say that. Somebody called Aladdin, aka aka the Banco Popular, aka the ATM of the sport of boxing, aka Chase, aka Wells Fargo, aka Bank of America. Somebody called them a dictator one time. And everybody thought that that person that called him a dictator was wrong. But if Turki Alalshikh truly going to keep Richardson Hitchens from working with him unless he signs with Matchroom Boxing, strong-arming him, that's some dictatorship right there, folks. That's some dictatorship right there. But let me tell you something that rich people don't. I'm talking about these cold-hearted rich people don't like. What cold-hearted rich people don't like is the word no. The word no. Are you gonna resign to me? No, I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't need it. What you mean I don't need it? Because most rich, wealthy people always have people working for them, clean their house, clean their apartment, take care of their kids. You know what I'm saying? Even when they're home, somebody else is taking their kids, cook for them. They got drivers, they got everything. A cold-hearted rich man, no. Because they can't control. They so their life is around controlling everything and everybody with money, that once money can't control this person, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Eddie Hearn can't control Keith Connelly's relationship with Turki Alalshikh. And once these fighters are can control them. So what Eddie Hearn allegedly is trying to sabotage the relationship that Richardson Hitchens could have with Turki Alalshikh. And Eddie Hearn is probably having this conversation. Come on, mate. Come on. Turki, I understand what you're trying to do in the sport of boxing, but you know what? I'm helping you too. And I got these fighters. Don't drown me. Let me set the tone. Let me tell the world of boxing that I got power too. That these guys just can't be leaving me and signing to you. You know what I'm saying? Because then all the fighters are going to do that. Then all the fighters are going to be afraid. Come on, you didn't come to business to trying to drown me, mate. Don't come into the sport of boxing to drown me. I like you, Turki. So give me this one favor to let the people know that they just can't be doing what Edgar Berlanga and Devin Haney and Connelly has been doing to me. Just let me, all right? So do Richardson Hitchens. I mean, Richardson Hitchens is not even of a fighter like that. So let me send a message with Richardson Hitchens with the other fighters, and that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Boxing Hacker with the $5 super chat says, let's be real. Hitchens would have gotten nowhere without Eddie. When Hitchens left TMT promo, bro was on the shelf like an old book. Resign make sense. Okay. So Boxing Hacker, good looking out with the $5 super chat, believe that because you gave me an opportunity, I got to be a slave for you for life. I got to sign for you for life. So watch this. How about this, Boxing Hacker? Matchroom Boxing gives Richardson Hitchens a lifetime deal. How about that, Boxing Hacker? So because you gave me an opportunity and now I'm a free agent and out of my contract, I got to re-sign to you because you gave me an opportunity. So everybody needs to re-sign with everybody that's gotten an opportunity. Tell Connelly Alvarez, hey, yo, Boxing Hacker, how about you tell Connelly Alvarez to with Turki Alalshikh and boy Oscar De La Hoya. Go ahead. Go ahead. How about this? How about you tell Floyd Mayweather to go deal with Top Rank again? Go tell Terrence Bud Crawford, forget about dealing with PBC, forget about the Turki Alalshikh, and go sign with Bob Arum because they gave you an opportunity when you was in shit, when you was poor, broke, no money, no nothing. How about you tell Manny I deal with Al to Bob Arum because when he was signed to Bob Arum, Manny Pacquiao was homeless. How about that? Keep that same energy, estúpido, pues. Not making no sense. I gotta resign to you because you signed me when I was nothing. All these fighters was nothing when they got their first deal. Do you want Gervonta Tank Davis to resign to Mayweather Promotions because he was nothing without Mayweather Promotions? Come on, bro. Come on now. Not making no sense, man. You want these fighters to be slaves now. If Richardson Hitchens was trying to finagle his way out of a contract, suing Eddie Hearn with the guy that was there for him, whatever, and stuff like that, then we could look at Richardson Hitchens like, yo, you an ungrateful dude. But this is boxing. I am a free agent, bro. The business and any sport, in any sport, they'll play you dirty quick. Come on now. The Jeremy Lin and free agency needs to sign with the New York Knicks because if it wasn't for the New York Knicks, nobody would know who Jeremy Lin is. There wouldn't be no Linsanity. So he can't take his $20 million deal that Houston Rockets was trying to give him. You ain't making no sense, boxing hacker. Stop. Hey, yo, people in this community, this one thing. I don't care if you disagree with me all the time in certain things or agree with me, right? I want people to stop playing this devil advocate game, trying to sound stupid because they like, oh man, I got to go against what Punchroom Boxing is saying. Pal salami con arroz blanco. Gracias, Pino, mi hermano, con los 5 pesos de Super Chari Chari Parike. Good looking now. All right, we will see. Hitchens was by himself, was on the shelf. I thought, bro, retired. But guess what? And somebody signed him, Eddie Hearn, and he did his due diligence. And guess what? He risked his life with the opportunity that was given. He just didn't become rich just to become rich. He risked his life becoming rich. He seized the moment as well, my brother. It's a give and take. It's a partner. Yes, I'm gonna give you the opportunity, but I have to work and risk my life for that opportunity. I don't owe you shit. Richardson Hitchens don't owe Eddie Hearn shit, my brother. I fought to be where I'm at. What are you talking about? The game. And if I lose, you would have dropped me like a bad habit. Because contractually, promotional contracts, if you lose, you get dropped. It's either you win, you get it in order. Say there's some contracts that you win, you get an automatic extension. You lose, it doesn't matter if you got 10-fight deal on the contract. You out of here, bro. They drop you like a bad habit, like you ain't never mean shit, like you never was shit. These promoters, man, they don't give a damn about no damn fighters. Every fighter is damn meat. Don't get that shit confused. This is boxing, fighter. And then they tell you the truth about them when they're not with them. You think that was true? That you think that was cool when Edgar Berlanga after the Connelly Alvarez fight, and because he had one more fight and he didn't want to resign, Eddie Hearn put him in the co-main event to an Ammo Williams. You think that was fair? You think that was, or you thought that was grimy? Come on, man. Come on now. These fighters don't owe nobody shit, man. They risk their lives in the ring. They risk their lives in the ring. Just if I hire a landscaper to do my backyard, and I gave him an opportunity to do a job, he's grateful for the opportunity. He's grateful that I call him to fix this shit so I could pay him. But at the end of the day, I owe him for fixing my damn fucking yard. I owe him. Eddie Hearn owes Richardson Hitchens after he fights. Here. I risked my life. Look at me, blood, blah, 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 blah. Here's your payday. You owe me. Investment, everything is an investment, man. Everything is an investment. There's dudes out here that's buying titties and ass to chicks. And them chicks be leaving. Look, that's it. They leave. They don't love you. That's it. They leave. In reality, they don't owe you. How about the investments that you make in your kids? All the food and clothing and shelter, right? But guess what? Your kids don't owe you shit. My kids don't owe me nothing. It was my job for me to invest in them and whatever they wanted to do that's positive in life, whether it's recreation in sports, it's my job to invest in my kids. And then my kids, when they make it, they want to buy daddy a car. They want to buy daddy a great present. They want to buy daddy a house. I'm grateful for it. But at the end of the day, the investment that I made for my kids' future has nothing to do with me. He said, I heard Bob got blown up today. Not sure if that's true. What are you talking about blown up? I don't play like that, bro. You got to have some more, you know what I'm saying? Blown up today? What do you mean? Ain't funny if it's that. Remember when Teo fought Taylor, if he lost top rank? Yeah. DS2, DS2? They know that. If Teofimo Lopez was going to lose to Josh Taylor, he lose that contract, man. This is boxing, man. I don't understand. Yeah, don't let fucking Eddie Hearn do this shit. The children are innocent and owe adults nothing. Honor, contracts should be respected. Salute to all. Facts. And that's what Richardson Hitchens did. He honored his contract. That's what Edgar Berlanga did. Honor his contract. The reason why Teofimo Lopez doesn't, with the Devin Haney situation, is because he signed a 3-fight deal and they didn't want to honor the contract that he already signed. But a lot of people saying he was ducking that he's ducking Devin. Oh, yo, Teo, you got to fight. Even I say, yo, man, just fight Devin Haney and beat the crap out of him and get it out the way and you get that money. But at the end of the day, when he's saying, but yo, they didn't honor the shit that we signed. We had a deal. They didn't honor that contract. Why do we want fighters to get effed over for pure entertainment? In the end of the day, we're entertained by these fights. We're entertained by fighters. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not our job. It's not our livelihoods. And sometimes we have to be humble to those fighters that this is their livelihood. This is their job. This is their career. These fighters don't go to our career and jobs and start regulating and telling can you imagine if these fighters really go into our jobs and tell our supervisors, man, how much you paying Punch? How much you paying this guy? Why you giving him this salary? He don't deserve that. He ain't worth that shit. Come on, man. He ain't worth that, man. You can find another person. Don't give him that money, man. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it. Can you imagine these fighters talk the way that we talk about them and their career and their money and their funds and what they're worth? Sometimes, we got to humble ourselves when we talk about this is their career. So what the alleged story, the alleged report is that Turki and Eddie Hearn is trying to sabotage Hitchens' decision not to resign to Matchroom Boxing. I would only work with you if you sign with Eddie Hearn. If you don't sign with Eddie Hearn, fuck you. That's not business. So you're forcing me for him to take 20 to 25%. Yo, if I'm Hitchens, I'm like, yo, Turki, you don't get that. For who you want me to fight? Teo? Haney? I know you work with you have relationship with Bill. Keith Connelly, my manager. Teo, why we got to bring Eddie over here? For what? Why do I have to give him 20, 25%? For what? I'm just going to voluntarily give him the money when you and your promoter, Salas, is going to put the holy... Doesn't make any sense. That's not business. Because you're trying to sabotage me because I don't want to re-sign to you. That's not business. That's like my first baby mama asking to sign an extension on our exact. Thank you, man. People get it out here. That's like my first baby mama asking me to sign an extension on our marriage. The fuck, right? Get the fuck out of here, woman. Come on. He took from rags to riches. He does that. That piss weak. That piss weak. So anybody that takes you from rags to riches, you owe them to life, but you work for it. Bacon, eggs. Richardson Hitchens fought for it. This is not that Eddie Hearn took Richardson Hitchens on the wing, gave him a bunch of money, he didn't do shit, and then in 4 years he leaves to the other That's not what he did, bro. It's a contract. It's boxing. It's a contract. You gave me the opportunity. I fought who I needed to fight. I beat them. I risked my life. You owe me because I risked my life. Pay me. This is the last fight of my contract. Thank you for the opportunity. We did great business together. I'm out. I don't need you now. I'm out. You made money. I made money. Thank you. This is boxing. It's a business. That's it. Exactly, Karate Kid. And if you don't win, there's no riches. If you don't win, there is no riches. I just don't understand why Eddie Hearn wants to play this game with Richardson Hitchens. It's not fair. It's not fair. Could you imagine? Now let's put it like this. Let's say if Golden Boy Promotions still had Connelly, Ryan, and all these high invested fighters. Let's say that. And Turki Alalshikh is invested in Golden Boy Promotions heavy. And then Oscar De La Hoya tells Turki Alalshikh, wait a minute. Come on, man. If you're going to work with Eddie Hearn, you ain't going to work with me. You ain't going to have Connelly. You ain't going to have Ryan Garcia. You ain't going to have none of these fighters that you want. I'm just giving you an example. If Oscar De La Hoya tells Eddie Hearn, if Oscar De La Hoya tells Turki Alalshikh, I'm not going to be lending you my fighters if you're going to be working with Eddie Hearn. Sabotaging another man's opportunity to get money. That's not business, man. That's not business. Thank you, Eliza. Eddie Hearn should have given Hitchens a longer and more lucrative contract. We blame fighters like Bud Crawford for signing the extension with Top Rank, and where he was crying that he wasn't getting the Keith Thurman fight, the Earl Spence fight, the Danny, the Sean Porter fight, right? He leaves Top Rank. He doesn't then, when he's a free agent after the Sean Porter fight, he gets the Dave Avenesian, and then he gets the Earl Spence fight. Did anybody blame Bud Crawford for leaving Bob Arum? I mean, Bob Arum and Top Rank he got him from rags to riches. This is boxing. Everybody leaves everybody. Everybody makes the investment. That's just the nature of the sport. That's just the nature of the sport. I mean, it would be good if you'd be like, yo, damn, I got you from this to that. Yo, bring me along. Come on, even Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and the Rockefeller, they had to break up. That's it. Jay-Z had a bigger opportunity. Dame Dash is still butthurt. But my brother, I got a family too. I got goals too. And I can't bring you along in this big opportunity. And if you my people that you truly care about me, you wouldn't try to sabotage my big opportunity. I don't got to bring you along to every opportunity I get. Richardson Hitchens don't have to pay Eddie Hearn for the rest of his life. Come on, man. That's not boxing, bro. It's business, man. It's business, man. But anyway, potential fight. Richardson Hitchens, I believe a Teofimo Lopez fight is better than the Devin Haney fight because it's a unification bout at 140. Both of these guys have great momentum going into the fight. Both of these fighters have great momentum. It's a unification bout. Both these guys from New York. Richardson Hitchens performed good in his last outing. Teofimo Lopez performed good in his last outing. It just makes sense. It makes sense. It's a better, as right now, it's presented as a better fight. The Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez situation is a good event because both of these guys are the most accomplished fighters of their generation. Is a fight that been brewing, been marinating, been building since for a long time. So I would like to see that fight as well. I'm just saying, in momentum wise, Richardson Hitchens and Teo has a better momentum performance wise, which people's not thinking about nobody running. Everybody thinking about this is going to be a good fight, right? With Devin Haney, probably he needs to the Devin Haney and Richardson Hitchens fight. I think that now you're forcing Richardson Hitchens to go to 147. And I don't know if right now Richardson Hitchens, I think the Teo is a better fight, the bigger fight. I'm not gonna say lucrative because when it comes to Turki Alalshikh flooding the money, you know what I'm saying, it's not necessarily the right market, right? So they can make a lot of money as well. But I think that, you know, Turki Alalshikh did say about what he feels about performance wise. He don't like the Tom and Jerry type of fights, and I think that right now, whether people like it or not, that the poster boy of the Tom and Jerry situation, because I think it's Devin Haney, because Devin Haney is just more of a high profile fighter. We could say is William Score, but William Score, nobody talks about William Score. Nobody was talking about William Score even before the Connelly wrestle. Nobody cares to even watching him again. I do think that people do care about watching Devin Haney, as much that people don't want to admit it because of his last performance. I think that people are still looking forward to watching him in a fight depending on the matchup. And that's one thing that people is also looking forward to seeing Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez, because it's a good matchup that been brewing, marinating, and building for quite some time. So that's a fight that still, I believe, needs to happen. Richardson Hitchens and Teofimo Lopez in the 140-pound division is the primary fight in that division, is the number one and the number two. That's the best fight in the best. That's for New York supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Already, of course, Teofimo Lopez is the king of the division, but that's a fight in 140-pound. That is the best fight and one of the best fights in the sport of boxing that got great momentum right now. Did I wanted to see Teo versus Boots? Of course, that's a tradition daring to be great. The lineal champion at 140 versus the lineal champion at 147, but Jerome Boots is going to be moving to 154. Now, I think that we should be talking about the potential fight that we've been talking about and matching up Boots for a long time, and that is Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. Hopefully, if Virgil Ortiz gets healed up, hopefully he heals up well. He has surgery in his hand. He'd probably be back maybe late December. I don't know. I think October is too early. Maybe the early of next year. Probably get Boots Ennis a fight that is easy enough for him to transition into the 154-pound division, and then they could go back into the drawing board or the negotiation table and get that Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis. And I think that would be one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing at 154. Jamel Charlo moving back to 154 as well. So I could see Jamel Charlo versus Virgil Ortiz, a Texas battle. I think that shit will do great in the stadium, to be honest, out there in Texas. Jamel Charlo versus Virgil Ortiz. We're going to have Fundora July 19th, Fundora versus Tim Tszyu, the rematch. I think that'll be a good fight. So, you know, I think these are good fights right now in the sport of boxing, man. It's good events coming up. Edgar Berlanga and Shiraz. That's going to be a tough fight for Edgar Berlanga and Shiraz. You know what I'm saying? Rapstar Boxing Out said Oscar and Eddie are feeling the pinch of Turkey. Yeah, and they know it. They know it. But the thing is, I think that Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya knows the business very, very well. That, you know, we've seen the up and down of Golden Boy Promotions. We've seen them go down and still keep themselves afloat. You know what I'm saying? I think it's hard to keep Oscar De La Hoya down. I think he knows he's very smart, knows the business inside and out. You get a couple of good fighters and you're going to be in position. Hey, the Kid Austin beats Tevin Farmer, he got something going. He got Virgil Ortiz, he got something going. Turki Alalshikh is still going to have to work with these promoters because there's some fighters that he likes to showcase that's already contracted with these promotional companies. So Turki Alalshikh is still going to be working with Oscar De La Hoya, but I think that now they really have to do the matchmaking themselves and don't let Turki Alalshikh does his own matchmaking and stuff like that. I think that Turki Alalshikh is a fanboy with money. You know, he got dream fights, just like the Canelo Alvarez and Bud. Nobody was asking for that fight, but he's willing to throw everything at them, you know, for that fight. and wanted to promote that this is the best fight that we've seen in a long time. In all actuality, Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is coming out their worst performance of their career. Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull was the worst I've seen Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not saying that it was just that it was him, but I just saw that he didn't have the enthusiasm to work the jab, double the jab to get inside and cut the ring off. He just knew that he had a big payday waiting for him. And Bud Crawford versus Matchroom was one of the worst performers of his career in the elite level. So none of these guys have momentum going up against each other. Let's see, man. Let's see. But you already know, man, this is Punchline Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Again, I feel like Eddie Hearn I think Eddie Hearn is absolutely wrong. He's 100% wrong. This is not a business deal. What he's doing, this is strictly him being a vindictive baby mama and family court, trying to sabotage a potential partnership and relationship between Richardson Hitchens and Turki Alalshikh. Richardson Hitchens owes Eddie Hearn nothing. He risked his life, got the opportunity and risked his life. He kept his end of the bargain. He honored his contract. And in anything, you should be honoring your contract. Just like if you lease an apartment, the landlord wants you to honor the contract. Just like if you finance a car, the bank wants you to honor the contract. Just if you have a contract with somebody, you want to honor the contract. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's just life and business. You don't owe nobody nothing. Business is business. That's why sometimes you don't mix business with pleasure. I don't have a personal relationship with you. I have a business relationship with you. Eddie Hearn has a business relationship with Richardson Hitchens, and now he's a free agent. And the good thing about honoring contracts is if there's another opportunity, I could do business with him. That is good business. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's good business. If we could always come back around and I could trust that guy that honored the contract the first time. I'm gonna give you an example. If you have an apartment, you paid everything on time, you was a great tenant, you move away, you come back in 2 years, you speak to the landlord, you got any apartment? Oh yeah, you know that landlord is gonna be like, of course I will. Yeah, matter of fact, when this apartment opened up, he's gonna like you as a tenant because you never gave him trouble, you never called the government or whatever, the environmental building took you to court for nothing. You pay everything, you pay everything up front, you paid your rent, you keep everything clean. When you moved out, you took all the furnitures out, nothing, you didn't leave the apartment. He's gonna be, yeah, I got you an apartment, and it's easy. You wouldn't even have to go through the paperwork because that was good business. Real good business when you honor the contract. That's pure good business. Anything else, any feelings or anything like else is nothing now, man. How you gonna leave? I just got here. How you gonna leave? Coda in the building. Dímelo, Coda, one of the members of Punchline Boxing. Karate Kid. Pero qué más que estamos hablando? ¿Qué más? I was supposed to have an interview with Joanly Hernandez. They haven't even returned my thing. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, Alicia Baum going to work with Derek James. Let me see if there's some real some updated news in this situation. Let me see. Teofimo Lopez struck out on Boots and Haney. Now he may have to fight a stylistic nightmare in Richardson Hitchens. Teofimo Lopez says, make boxing great again. Teofimo Lopez wants to fight Richardson Hitchens. Let me see. Shout out to Scooter Davis. Great performance in his last outing. Shout out to Moses. Teofimo Lopez says, I want to return to boxing ring September, October, again, December, January. I think that would be a good fight. I think that would be an easy fight to make. Now, put it this way. Now, let's say there's options out there. And let's say if Turki Alalshikh doesn't want to work with, you know, I mean, there could be a one fight deal. There could be a fight deal and an option, right? I'm not saying that Richardson Hitchens may not need Eddie Hearn in the future, because Turki Alalshikh, that's only if Turki Alalshikh wants to work with you, right? But if you're putting it out there that you're only going to work with him if he signs with Matchroom Boxing, that's not fair. You're trying to strong arm Richardson Hitchens in signing to somebody that he doesn't need to sign with. You know what I'm saying? But I want to hear what Turki Alalshikh has to say, because Turki Alalshikh is very outspoken, and he lets you know how he feels about certain situations, right? Why Tio get up in the ring and start hugging Hitchens punch wrong? What's up with that? Because Coda, you know why? Because it's like I've been saying to these people, they all grown up with each other, Coda. Naturally, they don't hate each other. Richardson Hitchens know Teofimo Lopez, and before him calling him out, Richardson Hitchens was mad cordial with Teofimo Lopez. It's like we could battle, and then when we see each other, it's like, you know what I'm saying, we peoples. There is no animosity. Teofimo Lopez and Boots Ennis have tremendous respect to one another. They came up the same class. You don't think that Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez used to be man cool? It used to be Shakur, Gary Antoine Russell, Clarissa Shields, who else? It was Shakur, Tio, Gary Antoine Russell, Clarissa Shields. They used to travel together and stuff like that. Richardson Hitchens, Boots Ennis fought so many times. Teofimo Lopez used to train with the Russell family. They don't hate each other like that. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez don't hate each other like that. You ain't see, remember they was in a plane together? They don't hate it. It's a competitive thing. It's a competitive thing. As a matter of fact, he also shook and gave George Kambosos a hug. Boots beat Charles Boots beat Gary Antoine Russell beat Charles Conwell as well, I believe. No. Charles Conwell was in another division. He was in another division. Tio called Hitchens charcoal stick, though. It's business, man. But anyway, man, shout out to everybody, man. Love y'all. Hope you have a great night. Love y'all. Tomorrow we back at it, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Love y'all. God bless. And on to the next.